Hey there, everybody. Okay, so we're coming to a crossroads on the bridge here, the bridging of the bridging. So it's kind of like a spider web bridge. It's not a hierarchical thing. It's not a this person knows more than the other person knows thing. But it is an awareness that the bridges themselves expand to become different kinds of bridges between different kinds of places as well. At different times. We aren't always able to be in our most present, power-filled, energetic, ignited, excited, cellular dance if we're not paying attention to what it is that keeps us happy in each moment. So when we consider ourselves as bridges and we know what we want to accomplish in each of those changing moments, what we also have to recognize is that we're changing too. We're moving. One moment, please. Did you guys just see that? I think the coaster got stuck to the bottom of the glass and dove off the glass. Anyway, so because happiness is the key factor here, the other key factor is recognizing what kind of bridge you actually are for what kind of space you're actually supposed to be bridging. I can't bridge apathy for long sustained periods of time anymore. That's not my business. That's not my predominant energetic reflection at present. Someone with apathy comes to me, or someone with anger comes to me, or someone with no courage or whatever. I can dance with that. I don't feel separate from that. I know that I've experienced all of these different expressions. But I'm not close enough to its vibrational frequency to sustain that for my own self. I then become a bridge between where I am and where someone else is in a very short distance. We'll just say that there's like apathy, anger, courage, and we'll say transcendence maybe. That's a bit obscure, but we'll just call it that. So we start out here, and it's easy to bridge from here to here because it's right next door. It's like, hey there, how are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Oh, that's great. So then these two guys are really good to work together because they've got energy that coincides with one another and enough overlapping kind of things. They're close enough. They can see each other. Well, then when we get about here, this guy can work here, but it gets a little more difficult to span this with the energy. It's like trying to, shoot your energy across a really long space. And you might need this guy to bridge some of your ideas to this person. You might be like, hey, I'm trying to tell old boy over here, if you could pass it on, that'd be great. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. And the same thing goes for this guy right here, this transcended guy over here that constantly keeps, manifesting these new realities and bridging more and more in these other directions here. This person can hang out with courage boy, no worries. It's not a big deal because it's like right next door. But for transcendence dude to go all the way to apathy dude, that requires an intense amount of patience and direct energy focus and an extremely realigned intention to engage with wherever this person is. Because remember, we're trying to engage with people where they are, not where we hope they would be or wish they would be or want them to be, or where we think that they would be, could be, or should be. But where they actually are. So to know this about one another, to say, you know what, I see apathy here. Like, oh yeah, we see apathy too. Okay, well, can you guys carry this here? Are you guys cool with that? Oh yeah, no problem. I don't really get it so much, says the middle guy here. This guy doesn't quite get it, but he knows that it's important, and this guy knows it's important, and this guy knows he's trying to learn more about this right here, and this guy knows that he wants to keep moving in these directions here, and this guy knows that he's going to keep moving here. Well, then old boy shows up with new sneaky trick and is like, oh my gosh, and transcendence dude is like, what's going on over here? Well, then when transcendence dude starts chilling out with new uncertainty guy, it's a new lesson, and the energy stays 100% focused on that new lesson, on that. I probably should have done it like this maybe, but that's so, is that easier? Right here, right here, right here, right here. Anyways, I should stay like this now, probably, so we don't get all confused. But now, because this is the central focus for this dude here, the transcendence dude is going to go into uncertainty here. He doesn't have the energetic intention to maintain this space. If Apathy Boy shows up and says, hey, can we have tea one day? Sure, an hour here, an hour there. But as a maintaining kind of space, it's not a reciprocal relationship. You want reciprocity. The way that we work is this, give and take. It's an oscillating thing. It's a constantly exchanging these natural waves and natural energy forces, and they come and go. This guy might actually dip. It's possible. It's possible a boy could lose it all, and everything that he thought he understood and had transcended could be completely turned upside down because, of course, now he's touched on uncertainty here. And uncertainty turns people upside down. And maybe he has to go back through and touch finding the courage to keep going, or not being angry about not getting it, or not feeling like it's time to give up. Meeting all those lessons again. Those are still applicable to this person. This is why Transcendence person doesn't have a problem going back through and saying, hey, can you get to, oh, yeah, I can do that. Okay, no problem. And then more apathy people show up down here, on this side of things. And then apathy touches another apathy and says, hey, I'm touching over here, anger and courage, and they're showing me that it's worth living. I mean, how is anger worth living? Well, it shows that they're irritated by something, that they believe that it's worth feeling some sort of worked up sensation over. Anger's not bad, but you want to keep transcending it. You want to keep moving beyond. You want to keep those ever widening rings of being, lapping other rings of being, overlapping, lapping, like a dog sitting on a lap dog. Not the point. Whole point is we've got I don't even know if it's a spider web per se, but we'll call it that just to, that's so radial. I'm not even going to get into the diagram aspect of things. Just use your creativity. Oh, my ears are so hot. Ooh. Okay, so maybe I can do it this way. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, what I was trying to say is, when we're bridging, let's be careful with reminding ourselves that we're not here to save the planet as one singular person. We're not here as one singular identity in our own little tiny spaces. We're not here as one person to save the earth. What we're here to do is engage with more creative ways of understanding how we bridge from one space to the next, and from our own bridging perspectives. How are we getting from our own space to the next? I mean, when we have to go and learn something new, that we can't keep focusing on this other thing, or else we're dispersing our energy. And once you start splaying that energy out, going in this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, you're like bing, 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 bing. It doesn't work. You've got to collapse in on something. The infinite potentialities are great when they're in the lightning mind work, but once you're on the physical plane, your body cannot sustain it. It will not allow you to. It will manifest in sadness. It will manifest in suffering. It will manifest in sickness. It will manifest in lethargy. It will manifest in collecting contagions and then pulsing them out to everybody else. And you can't do that. You've got to constantly keep shaking yourself free of all of that stuff. Anyways, I don't really know what I'm talking about. This is just me. This is just my own expression here. I'm not here to try and tell anybody what to do. I'm just telling you how I work. And how I work is by quantum visualization, quantum imagery. I close my mind and create an imagery physics and say, how does this particular free radical idea relate to me? What is this? What is this? These free radicals, well, they cause cancer. And typically systems will go against anything that's eating its system. It likes to counter-produce something to bring back full health. So these free radicals, these humans out there that are out there radically, creating their own weird egotistical worlds, are actually part of the whole moving system. And they're there to teach you how to bridge between one space and the next space. If you touch it less, it doesn't have the same power. If you don't touch it at all, it doesn't really have any power at all. It might still be jiggling over here in some space that you can't really, comprehend because you're no longer there to actually observe it. But if enough people turn it off, if enough people say, I'm just not interested, it's like, what is it gonna, this is what an argument with one person sounds like. Ready? Damn it, I can't believe this. You always do this to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then the other person would probably sound something like this. And then that other person, the yeller, would probably say something like this: you never listen to me. I yell at you all the time, and I come at you with these fists, and I'm sick and tired of this ridiculousness. And then the person that doesn't respond would sound like this. How long do you think someone's going to show up to an argument when you don't say anything back? Now, you can antagonize it if you feel like it. You can always keep poking at it and stuff and keep it spinning. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's good to get that anger out from the perspective that you touch it and poke it, so that that anger starts to see reflections of its own self and goes, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I yelling so much? Why am I screaming at everything and trying to prove my point? Edgar Allan Poe, convinced myself I seek not to convince. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. All I know is I wake up with a smile and I try. That's just all I got. And I have reflections coming back to me regularly that are indicating to me that the bridging that I'm doing between here and here and here and here is all working to the degree that my particular form needs to make those adjustments. I'm not here to take care of certain things right now. I'm here to also learn about other things. I'm here to also instigate other things. I'm here to create other things. I'm here to say that we should create before we are angry, that we should create before we are frustrated, that we should create before we abuse people, that we should create before we yell and kick and scream and fight and holler and do all this growling, super angry, mean stuff, the finger pointing and the blaming everybody for everybody else's issues. I got a clue. That doesn't work. You'll want to stop that right now and find out, what kind of bridge am I? Where am I in this huge cosmic scale of bridging? Where am I on this big pattern of all of the spider webbing of all of the human beings? Like a drop of water, like a drop in the water of a pond. Bloop, doom, 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 doom. You're somewhere widening. And when it starts to rain, watch. You'll see the rings overlap. They meet each other. It's nature, it's science, it's physics, it's math, it's writing, it's history, it's everything. Well, history is a funny one too, but I'm not going to really get into the whole time thing right now. We'll save that for another video. But let's just stay focused on right here, right now. What's happening in your life? What kind of bridge are you? What's your position? Who do you serve best? And when you start learning something new, recognize that it's okay to not teach that other person, but leave behind some breadcrumbs and teach other people around that person some of the bridging techniques that you did, so that when you move into your next space of awareness, that you don't feel like you dropped the ball on anybody. I know what it's like. I know what it feels like when you feel like you're not showing up to somebody else's life, but that's the impersonal nature of our experience. This is where we get impersonal. This is where we say, I'm on this planet to bring full health back to myself, back to my cells, back to my atom of the earth body, the one whole, consistent, all together, always with it, never apart from it being. This one big, huge planet of one single organism. Everything bubbling up, everything buzzing, everything vibrating, everything moving and pulsing. Anyways, it's just a thought. You don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it because I think it's important. So, peace to all y'all in your work. I appreciate everything you does. All right.